Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Follow the Money. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. This show is brought to you by DraftKings, and it is Thursdays with the Maestro. Mike Palm joins the studio now. He is the VP of this great resort, also the Golden Gate and the D. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Mitch. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning to Pawnell, Vermont, and our loyal Nesson family. Galesburg, Illinois. Peekaboo Marquee, we see you. Ocean City, Delaware, our very vocal Masson following. Gander, Newfoundland. Oh, Canada, everyone watching on Rogers Sportsnet. Wexford, Pennsylvania Sportsnet in the Pittsburgh area. Greeley, Wyoming, and all those folks that watch every week on YouTube TV. And Laguna Niguel, California. It's another sunrise over Spectrum.
Great location
Beautiful.
there in Southern California.
Yes, sir.
Watch out for the high waves.
Oof. Did you see that? With
Yeah,
those waves?
pretty rough.
Taking
Nuts.
cars over on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can you say now officially about the chop that we've learned about here for the 4 remaining entries in Circa Survivor?
Well, I can say nothing. I know former sports editor. There's a guy should be, what's your line? Who would have ever got that? I run a sports betting network. Bill 80 reports in the Daily Newsletter after breaking down Gill's Week 18 assertions that they saved $2 million and they got $1.81 million each. I can't say that. Bill's got sources deeper than my knowledge,
Okay.
but could be very possibly. So we could go under that assumption.
Okay, let's kick this around though. Do you think this was the right move from the 4 remaining entries to actually have a little bit of gamble left here and play for $2 million?
I don't hate it. I think that's okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they came up with a number they were all comfortable with and what they wanted to play. I'm sure not everybody that was their ideal number, but maybe there was some negotiating that went on there. I always said it would be somewhere between save 1, 5 each, and save 2 each. I think that was the high end and the low end of the spectrum, right? Play for 1, 3 up to 3, 3, and you do some sort of melding and play for 2. So, I mean, it still makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah. 4 people, the chance to go 20-0.
And if they all go 20-0, they'll get another $500,000 on top of it, right? So they end up with 2-3-1.
How about L.A. Jones tweeting, I'm not going to use the Bengals?
He's going for broke. So when you look at L.A. Jones here, he has Houston available. Would you use Houston on Saturday? And then if you get through and everybody else ends up on Cincinnati, you can load up on.
I'd rather use Pittsburgh. He's got Pittsburgh, doesn't he?
He also has Pittsburgh.
I'd rather do that.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing against the backups. Wouldn't you?
I still think that's a tricky rivalry game.
Okay.
And snow, which, you didn't ever want to be involved in a weather game in Baltimore, Paul. Okay. All right. Your $2 million is on that assertion. So.
Well, how about what if and he's got time to change his mind here. He has more than 4. What does he have now? Probably 60 hours or so.
Everything he said on Twitter is true, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no head fakes here. Okay?
However,
Yeah, he's Dan Campbell.
what if the Bengals number keeps going up and it gets past the key number now?
Right.
And if he could change his mind and he goes, okay, I'm taking the Bengals in Survivor, and now I can grab as a hedge
The middle.
7.5,
Yeah.
maybe whatever that number is on the Browns, and I can possibly win both bets then.
It's interesting, but I don't think so because I think he's prepared himself to go a different way, and then everybody could have a different team, and then that strategy doesn't always fall into line, right? So Vegas is an interesting pick because are these guys trying to get Pierce the job, right? Are they still going out there for Pierce, which could be a very telling angle, up to 3 now on that game. I know I sat with Circus Master the last few weeks. He really was hoping that somehow Denver could lose and the Raiders could win, and the Raiders had something to play for. They would have been a great pick because he still had him available for this week if they still had some outside playoff chance.
Circus Master has done well for himself, as I understand it. Is he hedged? Or is he...
I think he's put together the theory of parlaying the other people's picks, which went 3-0, and I think paid about plus 160 if you did those 3 other contestants' picks.
Well, when you get down to 4 people, that's a pretty good theory to go on then.
He talked about making a real large wager on Denver that night on Christmas, and then he didn't do it, which was very fortuitous, where some of the others might have.
Good for him.
Changed his
Wow,
mind,
unbelievable. Biggest contest in the world, $9.2 million. That's Circa Survivor. How about millions? How about our guy Matt Humans? How should he play this?
He finally made the newsletter, too.
Okay,
you and
good.
him.
That's good.
Backdoored it.
Johnny Utah. He's first and third in the quarterly.
I don't want to talk to him. He just wants to do everything like he's done. He doesn't
I
want
have
to
no
change
problem with that.
anything,
Okay.
right? I don't want to try to pick at his brain or whatever. It's worked so far has worked. Obviously, there's interesting. How does he protect one entry with the other? Does he use like 3 common picks and 2 different on each one, 4 and 1? So it's a lot of interesting things. A lot of money though. $150,000 for first, 60 for second, 40 for third, and then it drops down to like 15 and 10. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's a lot of money that's involved in the quarters, and he's sitting in a great position there with 2 entries. So
it's week 18. You're going to get stale lines.
Yeah,
I mean that's one angle.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, and that I'm just going to keep doing what's working. I'm 17 and 2 here. What the run I'm on?
Mike,
16.
I kicked this around earlier. Sorry, Paul, to interrupt. What if we have now? It's week 8, so this could very easily happen. If we have like 5, 6 big line moves from the contest numbers to Saturday at entry time, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what if he went all 5 of the biggest line moves on one and then the opposite on the other? Then he's really going to try to like win that one and just secure, $100,000.
and if he goes 3 and 2 and 2 and 3, he might be out of the money. Right?
Well, you cash both too, though. I mean, that's...
I don't know, because look, there's so many people behind
I know the
him,
guy's
right?
a half a game behind
so,
him. Yeah.
half a game behind him, he's tied for third, and then there's 8 people at 16 and 4 and 7 at 15, 4 and 1. Yeah. Right?
He's going to want to win something for sure.
And if you're those guys at 16 and 4 and 15, 4 and 1, don't you have to go against the stale moves?
I think you do.
And take the shot to
think
win the 150?
You have to.
Yeah,
go against them because you figure Matt would be on them.
Good point.
Right?
3 and 2 may not move the chains.
That's interesting, though,
Yeah,
from your perspective, Mitch, because maybe if he goes against them on the opposite one, he's blocking the people behind him.
Sure.
But I think Matt's just got to pick the best games that he can pick.
I think most people are going to be on those stale lines, though.
Mm-hmm. We have, of the overall contest...
Saint, this guy's unbelievable. The leader?
Yeah, I know that, according to Jeff Benson, the top 3 are all going to be here. And then the tied for 6th, Manifest, is actually the GM and table games manager at El Cortez.
Oh, wow.
Adam and Patrick, who we've known for a long time. I remember Patrick when he was just a floor man over there, and he was playing in our free tournaments at Fitzgerald's on Wednesdays, free slot tournaments. So they're going to come down and watch as well. So we're going to have a ton of 3 of the 4 will be with us. The Jags guys won't be here, but the other 3 survivors are going to be here on Sunday. And then, of course, we pay out. The ceremony is next Friday night at the D, and then they get paid out on Saturday morning. So,
okay. And that's for everybody? That's Survivor and Millions?
Yeah.
Next Friday night?
That's for everybody.
You got a booby update?
You've been there. You've attended that. You were
That's
there
great.
last year, weren't you?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, the introduction of Derek is always the highlight.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
Jeff Benson.
Yeah, you're a great MC, no doubt about it. And that was that Billy
My
Chip.
dad said, don't forget the little people, so let's lead off with Jeff Benson.
Okay, yes, the little general. This is you have
Gene Mock.
Do you have a booby update?
Well, the booby here is the Soda Man, right? At 27, 57, and 1, and then there are 2 tied right behind him. Remember, that pays the first place booby and then the second place booby, half a booby, 150. So, I mean, if it ended today, the guy would win 100, and those other 2 would split the 50, 25 each. So much to do. Human said he's also in like second or third place at the Westgate fourth quarter contest as well. He told me last night as we were passing on prime time into his show.
See, and that's the beauty of the contest adding the quarterlies.
Yep.
Right? Even if you're out of it,
Somehow
for
we did
the
it. Somehow
full
we did
year.
it. No rake and quarterlies. Somehow it stuck.
He's not top 100 overall, and he's at a 17-2-1 run?
Wow. I believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you go 3 and 2 every week. You're not sniffing anything.
No,
in these
no,
contests.
3 and
You got to be
Yeah,
closer to 4 and 1 than 3 and 2.
3 and 2 won't get you anywhere.
The guy who's leading this thing, his record's incredible.
Yeah.
What do you think of Michigan-Washington?
I still disrespect Washington in the market. I think this line should be 2 or 2.5, personally. I bet it when it got to 5, and there it is. I also have Washington. Remember, I bet Washington plus 750 when the bracket was announced as well. So, I mean, Michigan was the better team against Alabama. Still had to, at the end, make the plays to get the job done. I think that was an incredible 6.5 hours of college football, wasn't it?
Oh, it's the best semifinals we've ever had.
Amazing. It was an amazing afternoon of college football.
Yeah, because, Mike, annually, you can jot it down for at least 1 blowout, maybe 2. Not this year.
Yeah.
Monday was fantastic. Now, how are you guys taking the bet so far? I mean, obviously I can take a wild guess here because the number has moved up on the opener, but did you guys buy back at all in Washington? Or
Yeah, we have. And Washington is much worse in the future market for us. So we might end up being okay on this game. I'm going to guess, though, that we're going to need Washington when it's all said and done. I have to tell you, if we would have just let people bet whatever they wanted with no limits, we probably would have won $1 million on the Rose Bowl and lost $700,000 on the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because everybody was on Alabama. Everybody was on Alabama in that game, and most people were on Washington. Remember, 4.5, 4. We closed 3. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, that game closed 3 here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I saw that. So you guys take a lot of sharp money. You're saying it was nothing but sharp money on Alabama? So then it was a battle, I think, overall, because I know other sharps who were definitely on Michigan in that game. But it's different sports books, obviously, for different people. Yeah, okay.
You
Yeah,
imagine
and we have the Michigan ties, too. You
Of
know what I
course you
mean?
do.
Here, and
Huge.
it was a great result for us, Michigan. winning.
Wow. Penix is so good.
Really good,
But
but his injuries at Indiana, the constant injuries.
I know their offensive line won the award, but Michigan up front, what they did to Alabama, who does that?
Well, Michigan is so good on both lines
Yes,
that
they
they'll
are.
be in every game, right?
That's the thing.
But here's the thing. Milroe was, and I say this about Bryce Young, too. These quarterbacks that are decent running are not necessarily good at evading the rush. And I thought Milroe was no good at evading the rush, right? I think, although Penix is not a running quarterback, he's a little more dainty in the pocket.
Yeah. Biggest gaps of the previous week, no hyperbole. Next.
Michigan, Washington on Monday. If you want an edge, get an intro offer, $9.99. Access to every recap of every play, every host, every guest, and the betting splits, and every bowl guide. Limited time offer. VSiN.com/subscribe. Sign up, $9.99. Become part of the team. VSiN.com/subscribe. I have a feeling Saturday night's making this one. Here we go.
No bias.
You will respect my authority.
No pulled punches.
Your wife cheated on you because you lost sight of who you are as a man, as a husband.
No agenda.
There is no fear in this dojo.
This is no hyperbole.
This is the best part of the week.
Here's the maestro, Mike Baum.
Yeah, Paul, Saturday night isn't Go to Monday night. Number 5, the DeBoer War on the clock.
Oh.
You can't argue with the success DeBoer has had wherever he's been, including Division II, Fresno State, and Washington. But the handling of the clock in the last 7.5 minutes of this game left a lot to be desired. Okay, after Texas scores a touchdown to cut it to 34-28, Washington gets the ball back at their own 25, 7:23 to go. On 2nd and 11 from the 24, and this is one of the pictures for this one, they snap the ball with 13 seconds left on the clock, Mitch. 2nd and 3 from the 42, they snap the ball with 9 seconds left on the clock. 3rd and goal from the 10, he throws an incomplete pass, would have forced Texas to use their second timeout. The worst thing about this is Penix could have just slid down there inbounds. Instead, he threw it away. It wasn't even a pass. It could have been a touchdown. They kicked a field goal. Texas marches down. They hold them to a field goal, and now they get the ball back with 1:09 after they get the onside. If Texas has one timeout, the game's over, right? If he'd have run the ball. Well, they used their timeout after the first down. But, I mean, very bad luck for them that the running back gets injured. You could have argued he could have taken 3 knees and been down to 12 seconds.
Yep.
You know, back up, take a knee and pump with 12 and the game's over. Anyhow, I don't think he can anticipate the injury. But because of the mismanagement of the clock, there's at least 30 seconds they could have run off on the snap clock, and the running and throwing the ball on 3rd and 10. You know, they have to bat a ball away in the end zone to win that game. It would have been one of the worst beats of all time if Texas would have somehow advanced. All right, the next 4, the rest of the 4 are all from Saturday night in Dallas. This was one of the greatest travesties I've ever seen in my life. Derek talks about African continent. This was a travesty. This was the worst team in football in the late 80s, and in 5 years, he took them to 2 Super Bowls, and they were the team of the 90s. You made Jimmy Johnson wait 30 years to get in the Ring of Honor? Now, that's a different argument for a different day. So let's go to the play on the field. Number 4, straight tripping. These are going to be in chronological order of the game. Okay, Dallas intercepts Goff. Donovan Wilson. On the 29 with 2:05 to go, up 17-13. Here we go. Sarah Thomas. She's part of Brad Allen's crew. She missed 2 of those 4 calls they got in a row wrong in Green Bay on that Sunday night game in Week 13, Kansas City at Green Bay. Tony Pollard runs for 7 yards, setting up 2nd and 3 at the 2-minute warning. But here comes a flag from side judge Sarah Thomas, the Neil Armstrong of female officials, right? First to do a college bowl game, first to be in the NFL, first to work a Super Bowl. She calls tripping on Peyton Hendershot, who is the Dallas tight end, who tripped no one on the play. Aiden Hutchinson tried to trip Pollard. It's clear as day. I saw it. I screamed on the play. What are you talking about? Well, obviously, this now backs Dallas up to the 44-yard line, okay? A horrible, horrible missed call, which leads us to number 3, Big Mac's not-so-special sauce. What is McCarthy doing with this play calling? He could have run the ball 3 times here, granted if he could get 5 yards, although they might have been in field goal range from the 44. He could have run the ball 3 times and given Goff 50 seconds. He threw the ball 3 times. He gained 11 yards on first down. He's well within field goal range. He throws a pass out of the back of the end zone. I mean, it's just diabolical to not run the ball there. You could argue this was the worst of all. Worse than Brad Allen and worse than Campbell. But I got to go in chronological order so it makes sense. But this was what allowed Goff to slowly matriculate the ball down the field, 11 yards down. And they stayed in bounds. I almost thought, Mitch, when they had 4th and 6, with a minute 46, they were better off going for it and trying to win the game. You knew Detroit was going to go down the field with that much time. I don't think Goff could have done it with under 45 seconds. All right. This moves us to number 2. Eventually, they score the touchdown with 23 seconds to go, and I think we all knew Dan Campbell was going to go for 2. Mm-hmm. Number 2, you've heard of sleight of hand. This was sleight of tackle. Don't look at what one tackle's doing the other tackle. This was all set up by Campbell to deceive the Cowboys into who was the tackle eligible, right? And what they ended up doing was either fooling Brad Allen or Brad Allen forgot. All right, so Dan Skipper's the right tackle, number 70. All right, he comes running in before the play motioning, which if the Cowboys are looking at it, might be saying with the wipe down that I'm eligible, right? However, Taylor Decker, who's the left tackle, standing there talking to Brad Allen. If you look, Brad Allen is looking at 70, who he says had reported several other times. However, he clearly nods to Taylor Decker as he's going. Now, in most cases, they would announce this. The referee would turn on his microphone and announce this to the crowd and the defense. But because it was so loud at Jerry World for this play to decide the game, he ran to the line to tell the Cowboys. And what did he tell them? He told them 70 was eligible instead of 68. I believe in my heart of hearts, he confused it, Brad Allen. Now you're going to have all the other officials come on and say, it's Decker's fault. Decker walked up to him and talked to him. What was he talking to him about? Hey, tough game at night in Green Bay? All right. So now he calls the penalty for illegal touching. By the way, I don't think it was an illegal formation. I don't think he was covered up anyhow, which a lot of the Cowboy fans want to say it's a legal formation anyhow. So the penalty gets called, which leads us to number 1, okay? Damn the officials, full speed ahead. What is Campbell doing going for 2 from the 7? Why wouldn't you kick the extra point and go to overtime in that spot? I mean, you're still playing for the 2 seed. Conceivably the 1 if San Francisco were to have lost against the Commanders. But no, not Dan Campbell. Doesn't care what he says, it's how he feels. And he feels he can get it from the 7. And then the Cowboys jump offside, give him a free play, which they don't convert. So now it goes from the 7 to the 3.5, and he still goes for it, and he doesn't get it. And what's going to end up happening to your Detroit Lions? Old Matt Stafford's going to roll into town on Wild Card Weekend. And I bet you we're going to need the Lions. I've talked to everyone in Detroit, Patrick Maher, Derek, all Derek's. They are definitely afraid of Matt Stafford and that Rams team coming in there and beating them in that home game. But that's what you wound up with, and that's no hyperbole this week.
So you reffed, right, a lot of games when you were younger.
I did.
Right, you've done this in a lot of sports overall. Okay, so you are a stickler for this, and it really bothers you. I mean, this basically what you just did is explain why I'm not going to bet on either of these teams in playoff games, because I think both McCarthy's an absolute train wreck when it comes to time management. And
there's a difference between being aggressive and reckless and stupid.
Yes, he's
all these guys. I'm here to win the game.
I want to tell you what you just said is Campbell fake punting
That's right.
into the Packers where there was no advantage to be gained there.
Zero.
He did it again. It worked, though, but he did it again. He'll fake a punt from the 15 again in the playoff
Just
game.
because he feels it's the right time, not because he has a schematic advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Interesting.
And oh, by the way, at some point, Dan, teams know that you're going to do this.
Can we go back 2 years in the wild card round when Dallas had the home field and they tried to run that play with 14 seconds left with Dak up the middle and couldn't get the ball set, and he couldn't believe that?
Hey, don't forget 2014 NFC title game, Green Bay at Seattle.
That cost me a lot of money.
Game should have been 30-0 Packers at halftime. Otherwise, this guy's kicking field goals on 4th and inches at the one. Just like you're pulling your hair out watching this guy. Nothing's ever changed with time management. And then Campbell, reckless is the word. Too emotional. He's too emotionally invested into this stuff. His face is as red as a fire hydrant during games because he's so ramped up.
Like, what was the cutoff, though? Well, I didn't want to go to overtime. What if the ball's at the 12?
Sure, I'm still going.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, man. Your win probability plummeted.
And I'll give you another one. On top of all this, the league then doubles down this week.
Oh, come on.
Sends out the video.
But how about they put Brad Allen on the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game?
It's on a
standalone game.
I like what Brent Musburger said to start his show on Sunday. Countdown to kickoff here. He came on noon Eastern, by the way, and he just said, unacceptable. He's not going to get a playoff game, but that's not enough. He goes, he needs to be suspended well into next year.
I don't believe he won't get a playoff game. Brad Allen is ranked amongst the top 5 every year.
Oh.
I pointed this out last year. Do you remember the Devontae Adams catch in Seattle? He took 9.5 minutes to try to determine if you can't tell in 2 minutes, you can't overturn it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's devolved from that 2012 Oregon-Wisconsin Rose Bowl. And can I just say this? I know everybody's going nuts about the roughing, the 5-yard running into the kicker call in the Rose Bowl. I thought both those crews were really great on Monday. It was a Big 12 crew that did the Rose Bowl game and a Big 10 crew that did the game in New Orleans. I thought they were really good.
You would not have called running into the kicker?
Yes, probably is. But I can see in real time where the umpire and the referee thought that kicker was hanging his leg out there a bit. Because I think it was a beat late that he still had his leg out there. I know it was 4th and 3 or whatever, and it gives him a first down. But if that's the blemish of the game, there's a lot of other things you could screw up. I don't think they over-officiated these games. There wasn't a ton of flags. They got all the reviews right.
Yeah, Alabama killed themselves. They know it. Saban said it the whole week. The coaching was terrible in that game. The play calling for the first half, they never adjusted. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Center, yep.
Sacks,
yep. That play was going to work on 4th, by the way, in overtime.
Sure, was they got to the end to rush up, or you could have hit the back, too.
Sure.
But he panicked once the snap was low.
Mike Pritchard on the program coming up next. He played for a long time in the NFL, current VSiN analyst. What caught his eye for betting Week 18 in the NFL?
New customers bet $5, pocket $150 in bonus bets at DraftKings. You get the league pass for the rest of the season as well. Download the app, promo code VSiN. Incredible menu and offers and creativity at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Go get it.
I love our next guest. Known him for a long time. I would consider taking a bullet for him.
Oh.
It depends on what kind of, if we're drinking, depends on he's telling good stories, then maybe I would. Other than that, I'd have to re-examine exactly where we're at in the situation. But Mike Pritchard joins the program now. He won a national title at Colorado, played in the NFL for 10 years, current NFL analyst here at VSiN. How are you, pal? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You know, where you started out in Vegas, you might have taken a bullet for a lot of people. People don't know that about Mitch Moss in the hard streets of North Las Vegas.
Yeah, I did. The mean streets. I used to live out on Nellis and Owens, buddy. Come on.
That's right.
You know where the mean streets are here in town.
It's a little dicey. Yep, a little dicey.
So how tricky is it for you? You've been in this situation, you know, when you played. Week 8 was week 17 back then, week 18 now. Like, we think we know what the game plan is going to be for several of these teams, but do we really know? How many coaches are, telling the truth, you think?
Well, I mean, they got to be careful because they want their guys to still be playing at an elite level, if that's possible, mentally and physically, but then also be smart about it. I mean, now that we have the number 1 seeds with the buys, I think the decision gets easier for a lot of teams, and therefore, you're going to rest your key players. Or most important players, especially if you've already qualified for the playoffs, you're seeded appropriately as well. And now you just start to focus on gearing up for the playoffs. So, rest is everything right now, fellas. It is such a long year. I mean, think about it. We just had the Super Bowl last February, right? And in 2023, and then you go through the whole season, off season. It's an emotional roller coaster, as we know, and then certainly a physical one too. So you just got to be smart about it. The only thing I'll say this about that, fellas, is when we're betting these games. I mean, think about if a backup gets hurt, though. Like, say a key backup gets hurt. That's what got San Francisco in trouble. Like, their backup to Brock Purdy was not really available either because he got hurt. So the backup to the backup is playing, and therefore there's a noticeable drop off too. So I think coaches fear that the most. Like, if my important backup gets hurt in one of these games coming up this weekend, then where do we go from here? So they're going to be cautious about it, but rightly so.
Pritch, I want to go to one game in particular, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. One thing you've taught me doing these Fridays on Lombardi Line with you is how the familiarity of division foes sort of levels out the playing field with talent differential. I know Baltimore doesn't want to get anyone hurt, and they've clinched the 1 seed and they have a week off. Well, isn't there a motivation for Baltimore? They can't do anything about Cleveland being in the AFC bracket, but they can do something about Pittsburgh being in the AFC bracket, and this is their most bitter rival. How motivated is Baltimore to win this game?
Well, Baltimore is very motivated, Mike. I think, even if you're a backup player, you're motivated for a lot of reasons. If you're the backup quarterback, you're going in and you want to, show that you can play, and maybe you'll get a different type of opportunity as well. I mean, that's the thing about professional sports. We're always looking for that next opportunity. So you don't want to go out there and say, okay, yeah, we're playing Pittsburgh. Let's just get through this game and get it over with. The rivalry game, the competitive nature of this game, I believe that Baltimore will bring that to the table, right? The only thing is are they going to be good enough? And I'll say this. I mean, all year long we've had backup quarterbacks. The majority of the league have been backup quarterbacks, right? And we've betted accordingly. We've gotten used to that. So I think from a competitive nature, I think that will be there. The atmosphere will be there. It's up to Pittsburgh to show up and execute. And we'll see if Rudolph can keep it going, and if the explosive nature of this offense can keep it going, or Pittsburgh's confidence level. I mean, Tomlin, and you said this, Mike, Tomlin is everything when it comes to down the stretch and his team surging, avoiding a losing record, and perhaps make themselves available for the playoffs as well.
I know you used to do UNLV games. Can you believe Shane Steichen and the job he's done, that he has the Colts in a win-and-in situation?
I cannot. I can't believe Mike Sanford's offense has appeared in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's what this is, right? I mean, look at the Colts, and it's Mike Sanford's offense here at UNLV. It's Utah back when they had the guy that messed up his leg. What was his name? The quarterback.
Smith. Yeah,
Alex Smith. Thank you. So it's one of those offenses that allows for 6 eligibles, and it really puts a lot of pressure on a defense. And he's doing this with Gardner Minshew too, by the way. He's done an incredible job. The offseason that they had with JT and Irsay. I mean, good luck with that if you're a head coach, and he managed it. I mean, he's making Saturday look like a high school coach now.
Yeah. So you played almost 10 years in the league. So we got into rust. How about the teams that can't wait till the season's over? And Dion always says the U-Hauls are backed up. Do you have a couple of possibilities there where you could get some ugly performances on Sunday?
I mean, just trying to keep it together, right? Denver, Carolina. I mean, Carolina's packed up. I mean, their owner. I mean, my goodness, the culture there is ridiculous, right? Arizona. I thought Arizona would be, but somehow Gannon's got those guys playing hard, and he's supportive of Kyler Murray too, which is interesting. It is tough. Maybe the Bengals. Because they're without Burrow, and Burrow is everything to that situation. So I would dive deep into that. We know this. As bettors, you always have to keep this in mind. Each and every year, there are multiple opportunities for a head coaching position because they can't get it right. There's more teams that are just average or cannot get it right in the National Football League. I mean, we knew who the elite teams were coming into this year in offseason, and it's played out that way. So most teams are average or below average, and they can't get it right. Washington's another one. So keep that in mind this week when you're betting these games.
Why would the Chargers care about Sunday's game?
Great question. That's another one. You can go down the list, really. You can. Outside of people feeling like they're getting an opportunity to prove themselves, Mitch, that's really it. Outside of that, maybe incentives. The Pro Bowls were announced, and guys are getting incentives that way. The awards at the end of the year, if you're close to that, like Khalil Mack, does he want to be the sack leader or not? Things like that. Legacy. If you're an older player, do I have a chance to qualify for the Hall of Fame or not? I mean, things like that come into play. Selfish attention to certainly your selfish awards or what you can accomplish selfishly. I think those come to the surface with those dysfunctional teams right now.
Rich, a couple things here on the Raiders. You live here in Las Vegas. You're a connected guy. Devontae Adams came out this week and said, we want Pierce to get the job. Do you think that's the feeling in that entire locker room? And then beyond that, did you see the story in the RJ where there was a story yesterday saying Harbaugh to the Raiders is absolutely real? Are you buying that?
I am. I think, Mark Davis, he needs a headliner, right? He lives in Vegas and he needs a headliner. I think when he hired Becky Hammon, to be the head coach of the Aces, they've won 2 championships now. He's seen the light, and up in Oakland, you don't really need a headliner, but in Vegas, you need a headliner. And he tried to get Tom Brady. That didn't come to fruition there. And certainly the Josh McDaniels thing, that was ridiculous. But I think he's exploring whether or not he needs a headliner. The thing about Antonio Pierce is he appears to like the veterans, right? Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, and people like that. But the Raiders have gone through this transition where they have a lot of people that have no idea what the Raiders nation is about or what the Raiders culture could be about. Antonio Pierce has tapped into that, and it's been refreshing. And he's been a leader, and that's something I think the organization needs too. But he needs people around him. Patrick Graham has been phenomenal defensively, but he needs to go out and get an offensive coordinator big time if he's going to be the guy.
Rich, you were an exceptional tailback at Rancho and an all-world wide receiver at Colorado and in the NFL. You're really good at breaking down schemes, defense versus offense. Talk about the national title game. Penix and this Washington offense against the great Michigan defense. And are you on his side, Michigan -4.5?
Oh, I'm not on the side yet. I had the 2 dogs teased up, so that got me through. Plus, then I took Michigan on the money line too. So it's great to have a position. It brings clarity, that would be my tip. I think Michigan has so much offense and so much they can get to, and they execute so well offensively. Defensively, we know they clog the middle, susceptible to the outside. Penix and Washington, they're so explosive on the outside and the vertical passing game. I think we got a good one, guys. I think we're going to have the best matchup of the 4. Michigan can dominate you, possess the football. You got to be conscious of that, certainly. And that might give them the edge in this one because they do have ways to kind of control the game, whereas Washington is just really explosive offensively. Defensively, a lot to be desired there right now for the Huskies.
Love talking to you, Pritch. Thanks for the time today. Guys. Happy New Year. Be good. Hang tight here because I want to ask you something during the break, okay?
Absolutely.
In-pocket plays coming up next as well here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, Steelers Saturday to start the day. The Brad Allen special. Laid 4.5 and 6 with the Bengals. Now up to 7. Who knows where that goes? With Driscoll getting the start for the Browns. I'll take Belichick in what's likely his final game as Patriot head coach against Saleh and Simeon. Patriots laying 2 at home in a snowstorm. Giddy up, Week 18.
All right, I had a loser last night. OKC, cold as ice right now. I am officially the cooler to begin 2024. A loser with a Thunder first quarter. Third, I can't bet against the Hawks. They're the worst team ATS. I bet against them twice, and they 140 basically both times. Take me out last night in the first quarter. That was 39-25 into the first quarter. So no good on that one. Talked about this right away to begin the show. Bengals first half -3. The first half numbers are starting to pop right now, and I laid -150. Jeff Driscoll, this is Joe Flacco part 2, but he's got to prove me wrong on this one.
I didn't know he was in the league till I heard he was starting.
5 days ago, I think.
Is that really? I didn't
latched onto the Browns. They're playing nobody.
Yeah.
And the Bengals, again, more and more of that is coming out where the Bengals want to avoid going winless in the division this year. Makes some sense here. So, give me the Bengals first half -3.
Before you make your next bet, visit vsin.com. Check the current betting splits data. Want to know where the money and bets are moving in every NFL or bowl game? It's updated every 5 minutes with DraftKings odds, and we've recently added soccer bets from around the world. Check it out. Every game, vsin.com/splits. What are you going with, Maestro?
I believe that the coach that wins Saturday night's game in Indianapolis is Coach of the Year.
I don't disagree.
Wow.
They're both like 12-1. You can find 12-1 on both of them. I tried to give out Ryan's at 18-1 last. I'm telling you, Stefanski's win total was 9.5. Everybody knew he had a great defense, top 3 defense. And who thought Deshaun Watson was going to have an all-pro year, right? They were going to get by despite quarterback play. So, I mean, yeah, great. They did well. But I go by win totals. I mean, Houston, this was a throwaway season. A rookie quarterback, their win total was 4.5. Yeah. They're favored to be in the playoffs, right? And
I'll give you another one. I'll add on top of this.
Steichen without his quarterback that gets hurt with Minshew.
What if Jacksonville loses? The winner of this game
wins the division.
Yeah. Then the winner, I think, absolutely has a great chance to win.
So you think it takes Jacksonville losing?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
Look,
do you have tickets on either of these guys?
I do not. I think you can still add them though at this point, right? Being double digits. We had Mike Detillier on, who covers the NFL for WWL in New Orleans last Friday. We asked him who his Coach of the Year was. Again, Stefanski at the time was like -350. He goes, no, it's D'Amico Ryans. And we followed it up. What if they miss the playoffs? Don't care. Now he's one guy that said that, but he has a vote.
But one of 50. It's not 880 like the Heisman. It's one of 50 that vote on these awards, right? The Heisman voters, I talked to 4 of them in the last 2 weeks of the season. They all said it's a runaway Daniels. Nobody wanted to believe that. Everybody believed it was Knicks if he won and all of this, right? And it was runaway. It was runaway Daniels. I mean, they all said it. So I tend to believe these voters when they speculate about how the markets are going without revealing their vote, what they're supposed to say.
Do you play anything Sunday, or are you going to sit it out?
I played the Bears.
Okay.
I think this is a really tough game for the Packers.
So do I.
What's bad? Bears are rolling. They want to beat the Packers. Right? I mean,
I'm telling you, this Saint thing is the 7 is looking like a real deal, like a good shot.
Did you grab Bears plus 3.5?
No, 3.
3. Okay. What has to happen for the Saints?
Saints win. Packers lose. Seattle loses.
No, they could get in. The Saints have a real shot of getting in here.
Or Tampa loses.
And this
they win the
Atlanta
division.
team's imploding. I mean, change quarterbacks every play.
Come on.
Do you watch this game in Chicago?
Yeah. Oh,
I've been waiting all week long, hoping to get the Bears plus 3.5. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think they win the game outright.
I would not be surprised at all.
I saw your tweet earlier in the week. What did you make of the draft going back to
Funny
August?
Revisiting it, isn't it?
Oh, my God. It's bananas. I can't believe the big tickets that are out here.
You're at 8th with the 49ers.
Yeah.
And what were the Ravens
were 13th.
13th.
Yeah.
Justin Flynn, 20-1. And you got them at 8th. I mean, you go back and look. Eagles number 1. Okay. Bengals number 2. You don't know he's going to get hurt. Chargers 3rd. That was Ashley. Yeah. Bills 4th. They're alive. Chiefs 5th. They're alive. Dolphins 6th. Minnesota's out, basically. That was 7th. Dallas at 9. I mean, they might end up with the 2 seed now, right?
Yeah.
Mitch, you're still alive with the stumbling Jaguars team, but I don't think there's much hope of them. Do you think
I'm on life support.
Even if they win the division, I mean.
No, I'll love the Browns in the first game against them.
Will the Browns be favored in Jacksonville?
I think so, yes.
I think they'll go off the
And
favorite.
I think they'll take money.
Yeah, I think they will as well. Yeah. Nick Lombardo got the Browns at 11 at 38-1. He said, I'm cashing the ticket, but he's been red hot too. Lions at 12. They're going to be in the playoffs. Ravens at 13. Packers 14. Giants, Atlanta, Jets, Seahawks, Patriots at 19. Saints at 20. Rams at 21st at 92-1.
Look at that.
That's the athlete Perry's friend, Chad Bonet from Louisiana as well.
Okay.
He's sitting there pretty nice with a $2,000 ticket at 92-1.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And not a big dog against
Bears
Detroit.
are out. Pittsburgh could still make it at 55-1. They were 24th.
Well, now it gets interesting. Go to
Houston
27.
at 27th with your partner.
Right.
Scotty Trabuco at 250-1.
Yep.
For 1,500.
And he wanted the Steelers. He had no idea
Colts
what was going
at 28th.
Right.
At 130-1 for 1,500. Sean Shakarami, our friend from Northern California. Tampa Bay at 29 at 225-1 for 1,000.
Guy left, didn't even show up for the draft. He didn't even show up.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, if Houston...
Yeah, we randomly drew that for him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. If
the last four.
If Houston makes the playoffs, they're not going to be huge dogs in these games. Right away to begin?
Well, let's say
play Buffalo. That's
I think Jacksonville's winning, so I'm going to assume Houston's going to be a wild card if they win. Do you guys play that game at all, the Houston and Indianapolis game? Will people tease the Colts being a dog at home? I would think they'll be part of the teasers this weekend.
I actually wanted to flip it earlier in the week, but I couldn't.
You wanted to tease Houston.
But I didn't like any dance partners out there. Nothing really was catching my eye.
No result in this game would surprise me.
No, nothing really.
Nothing,
yeah, but
nothing.
I think that
the Raiders could have very easily won that game on Sunday. They punted 4 times from inside the 50-plus territory in the first half.
Ridiculous.
The Colts started every drive inside the 10.
Yeah,
and we're winning at half.
I can't believe that he did that. Which ticket do you like the best in this? Is it Ravens? 13th overall?
Well, we get buried by the Ravens, too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Is that the worst?
As bad as the Chiefs last year.
Oh.
Because we have a 6-figure bet to win the division. That's already done at even money. A 6-figure bet at plus 650 to win the AFC, and a 6-figure bet at 13-1 to win the Super Bowl. All the same guy.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And he also made a 6-figure bet on Tampa Bay to win their division. I think it was at the time was, close to 2-1. I think Atlanta was favored at the time when he made the bet.
So I took Jacksonville 10th. Baltimore was 13th.
You could have had Baltimore.
Pondered them, but I thought the division was too tough.
Well, the division was tough. We talked about the AFC West. Last year was going to be the greatest division of all time. It was a complete bust. You might make that argument about the North this year, and Burrow got hurt. And they're still 8-8.
Not right? Going to finish in last place,
look
possibly.
Look at these teams.
I know it.
13 wins, 11 or 12 wins. They're going to give that game 9 wins, 10 wins, every team.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the handle and the schedule next year, though, with the college football playoff? We kicked this around the other day.
Friday, Saturday.
They
play on all off days.
Uh-huh. It's going to be nuts with the
Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday.
Yeah.
It's all off days, so they never conflict with the NFL. The NFL won't play on that Saturday when they have the 3 playoff games.
Right.
But the schedule is perfect. How about Wild Card Weekend next year? You go Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 days of playoff football. What weekend Wild Card is next year?
Yeah, that suddenly turned into maybe the best weekend out of the entire year.
Well, it is.
Certainly one of them, yeah.
Well, you can argue, Wild Card weekends become the 3rd biggest weekend for us in the whole year.
Oh, is that right?
Because of that wraparound.
Yep. It's well done.
It's huge. It's bigger than opening weekend, which is the 4th biggest weekend of the year for us, behind March Madness and Super Bowl.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's bigger than opening weekend in the NFL.
Yeah, that's now 5th.
Wow. Okay.
Or 4th.
So
3rd and 4th.
So then multiply.
They were like tied. The wild cards become bigger.
How many times next year? It goes up then.
Well, because you got the college football. This New Year's being on a Sunday night, Monday is like the worst fall of the week you could ever have.
Terrible landing spot.
It's bad for everything. Because people were leaving early on Monday morning. They didn't even stay for the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
People were driving back to California early Monday morning.
How was the handle on the 2 semifinal games?
Handle was great, but it was all leading up to it, in the run-up to the month before.
Yeah.
Really good handle.
Well, what was you said that you have...
I want to say one thing about if you were Harbaugh, where would you go? You had your choice of
Boy, Chargers would be pretty
How
appealing.
about Bears? You got a good defense and the number 1 pick.
Well, they're bringing
and
him
you're
back,
the quarterback there.
Are
they?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: he doesn't get along with Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren's the president of the Bears. Used to be the commissioner of the Big Ten.
I take the Charger job.
You would?
I think so.
You believe in Herbert? He's a generational quarterback that's won nothing. He had Anthony Lynn and he couldn't win. How good is this
he's
guy?
been stuck
How
with
good is
Crystal
this guy?
Ball. Like Crystal Ball.
We don't even know his name if the doctor doesn't puncture Tyrod Taylor's lung. All right, you want to tell me?
Think about his lottery ticket here.
Sure.
Mario Cristobal into Anthony Lynn into Brandon Staley.
Yes. The defense rests.
You have to go for Cummett. Brady had Belichick. He overcame that.
Great job, Mike.